Let's begin. Happy Thursday, everybody. Praise be the Spiral. Hope you're all doing well. Thank you for the host, Proud7. Appreciate it as ever. Praise be the Spiral. Yes, indeed. I'm drinking this rather delicious R-White's raspberry lemonade today. It's very, very nice. I do like raspberry flavoured things. And it's particularly tasty. Worms. Worms was a lot of fun. I just made stupid technical mistakes. Let's make sure I'm not making that mistake today. Not that it matters, I haven't got my desktop audio up, so. But yeah, Worms was a lot of fun. We shall definitely be doing that at Christmas, I think. Along with a few other games. I've got a list of a couple of games to try out. Actually, Sean recommended one today. I forgot what it was now. I'll have to check back on my chat what it was. But yeah, we'll pick a few decent games. It's going to be good. It's going to be good. You can blow yourself up with skill. Yeah, SP won. Oh no, I think Cosmin won the last one. Cosmin won the third round here. It was damn close though. But he had the high ground, and I had to go to him, and it was not good, and it ended badly for me anyway. So we're going to do some Cecconoid tonight. Let me make that code a bit bigger so you can see it. There you go. I've got 3 entries now to the demo competition. I've written a very, very simple kind of wrapper around it. Just displays the name for each one. I haven't really had the time to do much more than that. I knew there was something else I had to do. Hang on. There was something I was thinking about, and that was it. So let me just turn them back on. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, so I had. Let me turn on these. There we go. Yeah. Hopefully the backgrounds work as well. Prop night, that was it. Yeah, let me write that down while I remember. So prop night, I'm not sure what it is. It looks like a weird kind of game, but it could be decent. Next week we're going to play Golden Axe. Me and Sean are going to go on Amiga Live, play a bit of Golden Axe. Oh God, no Wolf! Somebody remembered this damn tune. Thanks, Zerful. Oh. Yeah, so I've got three entries to the demo competition. I've written a very, very basic wraparound which just displays the name of whose demo entry it is and finishes there. I might add a little kind of title screen, if you like, just to give it something to begin with. But I'm not too fussy. I'm more interested in the in those things. Don't know if my demo pack will get finished. Still having health issues after COVID. Oh man, I hope you feel better soon. And good luck. You've still got a day and a bit. I mean, I'm happy to give you a little bit of extra time if you feel like you can do it before the stream on Saturday. The only reason I request them so far before the stream is so I can add them into the thing and test them. But I can, as long as it's not too late, I can test it a bit later on. So that's good. Regarding the Christmas competition, I've had 1 entry. So the competition isn't a bust. We've had 1 entry, but I'm really hoping in the next 24 hours, because that's pretty much how long is left. 26 and a bit hours is left. I'm really hoping we get a couple more entries as well. I'm sure the person who has entered hopes that there's not any more entries, because then they'll be guaranteed to win a Mega 65. But yeah, I hope we get a couple more. I realise that with a game like this, you know, a proper full game, people are going to spend a bit more time to get things polished, so they may wait till the last minute. So that's fine. But yeah, don't stress yourself out, Doctor. It's absolutely fine if you can't manage it. I completely understand. Um, the game is very good. The game is very, very good. I had a bit of a play on it yesterday, and I really like it. I don't want to go into more details. I'll leave it as a surprise, but the game is very good. So, thank you very much for the resub, Kate Apocalypse. Appreciate it as always. Cheers. I'm just drinking lemonade tonight, so nothing fancy. Yeah, I hope you feel better soon. I mean, I've still got the remnants of this cold. It's just about gone. I mean, it's I've been at like 95% for about 2 weeks now. Just like a little bit of a kind of blocked ear, bit of kind of gunk in my ear or something, fluid on my ear, and just a bit of a chesty cough. Nothing major, not like it was when it started, but it has taken a while to get rid of it. Um, if it's still only one and the winner, then you need to play it in the stream. That's a very good point, actually. I think whatever wins, we will play for quite some time. I think on that stream. So it's going to be a long stream. That stream it is on a Thursday, but it is the 23rd of December. I think most people won't be working the day after. I don't think I am anyway. And if I am, I will probably be taking it off anyway. Um, so yeah, yeah. Steps will go into the draw for the competition as well because he's written the music. It's another reason I want to write a little kind of or just draw a little intro screen just because I want to put Steps' name in there as well. Everybody's name who's entered the demo will have a little kind of their name will appear just before the demo bit plays. So I'll put something with Steps, music by Steps. Competition by me, music by Steps at the beginning. So I'll probably draw that tomorrow. We shall see anyway. So yeah, that's about it. I don't really have much more to add. It's looking more and more likely that I may have to take most of January off for this move. I don't know how the internet's going to work. I've got to pull my computer apart and rebuild it during that time, and there's going to be a lot of packing I need to do before then as well. It's going to be middle of January that I move, but it's probably going to take about a week for me to get set up in the new place. So there's a good chance that most of January will be taken off. So I do apologise ahead of time for that, but I'll do my best to get back on as soon as I can. All right, let me add points to you all. Let me turn my interact on and start the races and give you all points, and then we'll crack on. So when I left this last week, there was a little bug needed to sort out. There we go, and there's the race. But generally, it was looking pretty good. So we're starting to get to the point where we can actually begin to almost move on to other screens. Just a few little tiny things to do on this Robotron screen. If we can get the bug fixed quick tonight, then we can just finish off the last bit, which is adding the stars, which should, in theory, be very quick. But I'm I'm very aware that whenever I say that, things go wrong, and it tends to not be quick. So we shall see what happens anyway. Oh wow, Operation Thunderbolt. Yeah, that was quite a long one. Yeah. Yeah. Right. Okay. Let's show you where we're at with this. Probably have to turn the music off again on this. Actually, I think. Oh no, I don't. All right. So most of the Robotron screen is done now, with the exception of uh, this little bug that you'll see now. So obviously that needs to turn into the right thing. So we will do that once we get this working, but we can destroy it. Oh, actually, it's behaving very weirdly now. But we can come out of the room and go back in. Everything's fine. Do I still explode when I hit these? Yeah, okay, because it looked like I didn't explode, but okay, so let me just do that again. Just get the I may next year, once I've moved, because I'll have a better setup for streaming. I may stream gaming a bit more often. So on the days where I wouldn't normally stream, I may just stream what I'm playing. Which at the moment is a lot of Battlefield, but it may be other things as well. Okay. All right. So there's a few weird things going on in here. Firstly, well, actually, let's get the right characters dropping down as it falls down. So the easiest way to do that is to actually export these separately. So let me open up the char pad. Which one it is? It's the one with the latest date on it, so it's going to be that one. Yeah. So what I want is the characters that make up this this crate. So it's this one to this one, and those ones there. So I'm just gonna copy those. Get rid of these ones in the middle. I'm going to change this to 8. So we've just got the characters that make up this, and then I'm going to export them, and I'm going to put them into into our Robotron area as we load it in. So just going to export the character sets. All we care about here. It can go into screen sprites. It's kind of no, actually, it can go. Hang on, let me save this out first. I'm going to put it in here though, and this is going to be called bonus pod. I'm putting it in screen sprites because it's kind of loaded in the same way as those, even though it's really not that. So bonus pod, there we go. So the only thing I need to do now is import that in and then find a way to copy it into the character set. So let's get this out of the way and then I can try and fix the bug then, you see. So, right, so let's have a look at our... where is it now? It's in dynamic, isn't it? Yeah. Robo Prize, here we go. So you can see we import the bonus pod at the end here. Oh shit, there's already one called bonus pod. Have I literally just overwritten that? I think I have, haven't I? Let me... I didn't read the message that came up. I think I yeah, I did overwrite it. Okay, so I need to... Well, that's right. Set. I'm going to call this bonus pod sprites. Where did that export to? Yeah. There we go. So make that bonus pod sprites. And then this is char bonus. So all we need to do is we need to find the right place in the character set to copy these in. Now, the thing with that is we need to make sure that if the space overruns the end of the character set, that we actually put it at the beginning somewhere instead. It should be fine in most cases, but we just need to check. So first thing I need to do is I need to find the map loader and work out what those values are, and we need to find somewhere to load them in. So we'll do it on the init here. Load chars here. Let's get a dual screen up. So how's everybody doing today? I hope everybody's feeling well. It's getting colder and colder outside, that's for sure. I'm someone watching over my shoulder. Hey, Baldric had a thing for turnips. He did have a thing for turnips, didn't he? I remember that quite a lot. Yeah. Ferrari S. Okay. Okay, so sorry, I got really itchy foot for some reason. Okay. Okay, so we need the map loader, and we need to figure out what the next character is that's going to be used. So we have font index and local font index. So the best way to do this is to look at the doors, because the doors actually do the same thing. They copy something in to that area. So let's take a quick look at the door loader. Copy door charts. Here we go. So there's quite a lot there, but let's just copy this in first. It shouldn't be this complicated. So we'll just strip this down, I think. Let's put it in here and then just strip out the yeah, like that. There we go. Okay, so what do we need to do? We need to take the current, well, it looks like local font pointer is what we need to use. And we need to store it somewhere. In this case, it's door font vec, but we're not going to use that. Now, the thing is, the reason we need to use local font pointer is because we've already loaded the door into this screen. So we're going to take the local font pointer and we're going to store these characters down here instead, the data from this point. We're just going to copy 64 characters directly from there to the new location. So we'll do it 8 bytes at a time. So can we use these things? I think we can probably use these because they're they're 0 page values, but they're used just for loading the door in. So I'm going to just change the labels for them in variables in here. So we can use them to load in door font vec. Here we go. Yeah, see that they're used for all sorts of things here. So we're also going to use them for bonus font vec, we'll call it. Okay, and we've got font fetch as well. So we'll have bonus font fetch. You see, we're already using it for Robotron as well. So we're using the same system. It almost feels like this should probably be refactored, really, but I'm not too worried about memory anymore. I was at first, but I'm not anymore. So I'm quite happy to replace these. Door char counter. Where's that? That looks like it's probably something local to doors. Let's have a look. Oh, it's there. There we go. But basically, we're just putting the word bonus whenever we see door in here. We do need that local font index. That stays the same, and this would become bonus font index. Okay, so what do? We copy 8 bytes from the location. Now, door chars we're pointing at here, but we need to change that to char bonus instead. I can just change these to bonus. Oh, and we need a char list, so let's create a bonus char list here, which is just going to be 8 bytes. bonus. So it's actually not going to change very much at all. This will automatically handle the wrapping around at the end, so that's a good reason to use the exact same code. But yeah, I feel like these could have been pointed to differently, and the thing reused, but it's reused in three. It's used in three places at the moment, but it's fine. It's fine. It's not a huge deal. If we do seriously run out of room, then I can look into refactoring it, but I don't think we will anymore. It's font vec, so font index there, font vec there. I'm just going to go through and do them all and then come back. Okay, font index. This. Oh, so I thought it was something else. It sounded like cross out. I think it is. I was thinking of. It's not. Okay, so this is going to copy the chars into the font set for that bonus. Now, we could have just made it so that the thing was loaded in anyway, but I think this is a better way to do it. The problem we had with the other way is it would have always been there, or it would have been collidable at the very least. So this is a way of kind of sneaking around that. So now we should be able to, when we draw, where is it now? I've got to find out where it is now. So here's our load. Okay. If we've reached the floor, set speed to 0, remove sprite and create a shootable pod. Okay, so at the moment, spawn bonus pod, we're doing this, which is obviously messy as hell, right? So, although, I mean, it's not going to work, so we could... No, let's make this a loop at the very least. Let's try and make it a little bit smaller. No point wasting memory when we don't need to. So this would be... So... And then we'd need 2 more here as well, so... Whoops. Like so... Oh, damn it. And this would be increase X. Okay. And then this is comma X. X, and this becomes, what was it? Bonus char list, comma X, and bonus char list. It's 4 commas. Let's put 0 in there just for symmetry. Okay, that should be enough now. So let's give that a run. Hopefully we should see the bonus pod spawn properly now. And then the only other thing we need to do is make sure that the sprites are clear, because you'll notice when the sprite falls down, there's a little bit of a flicker. So we need to get rid of that flicker. We've got an error somewhere. Bonus font. Oh, I didn't save that file. There we go. Another man in black. They are. There's a lot of black and white men in this, isn't there? Definitely. Is it not called bonus pod sprite? Bonus pod underscore sprites dot bin. Bonus pod underscore sprites dot bin. Did I spell that wrong or something? No, it seems to be right. It's in the right folder. Oh, assets, screen sprites. Okay, I don't know why I didn't have that in there. Always makes me think of Arkanoid, this, because it was the loader on one of the Arkanoid collections, the collections that had Arkanoid on it. At least I think it was. Yeah, it was. It was Arkanoid. So it always makes me think of Arkanoid. What's going on now? About screen sprites. Assets, screen sprites. What? To do. Oh, I see. I just put it in the wrong place, that's all. It's in the source, weirdly, because it's a dynamic. So I've for some reason I put all the dynamic stuff in here like this. Okay, it should work now. I don't need that. Target Renegade. Yeah, exactly. I think most people are going to associate those tunes with particular games, because you would have had to have quite a lot of games that you played frequently enough with the same loader for you to associate it as a Notion loader rather than a specific game. Wait, did that not kill me? And it should have done. Or is it just because it hit something? I think it's because it hit something. The border color change. I need to get rid of that. Okay, so I should drop down. Okay, the sprites flicker, but it didn't change into what I wanted it to change into. So next step is to go and have. Oh, am I actually calling that load charts? I am calling load charts. Okay, that's interesting. Okay, well, let's see if that actually gets loaded in. So that's the next step. To load up this. The right screen, that one. So you can see the characters that get loaded in. And you'll see as we move into here. Oh, it's not loading those Robotron ones in at all. Sorry, it's not loading the chest in at all, which is interesting. But what I also find interesting is that it also, when it draws that bonus pod, it still draws it in the old way. So I feel like there's something not quite right there. Oh, wait, hang on. Wait. Oh, shit. All right. Okay, let me shit. All right, let me copy that. Let me undo this crap here. That should be fine. I know I've done wrong. Okay, so this is how it should be. Map RAM is actually the collision, so it should be like that. And then this would be something a little bit different. So let me just copy this. This. Wait, there's 10, 20, 70, 30, 40, 50. Right, 3, 4, 6, 8, 5. And then this is the second row. Okay, so we can get rid of those. Get rid of that. And then this becomes June. There we go. People struggling with the series, yeah. Hey, well, look, how's it going? I think it's a good series. I think it's a good series. Have people actually figured out what it is yet? The problem is even if you know what the series is, it's figuring out what you've put in it, because there's a lot that could go in it. It's not like you've done everything. You've done a selection, right? So okay, so I mean, something's happened, but let's see what's actually happened here. So we're looking at the characters in the top left here to see what's actually been imported. You see, it's still not. Oh no, it won't import until we hit the prize at the end. So, and you can see it's imported 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's imported loads, but it's not imported the right things. It's imported the top corner and then a load of crap. So let's have a look at why it's done that. So that's to do with our load chars function, which I thought was just going to work, but obviously not. So bonus char count. Okay, so the bonus char count should only be loading in 8. So actually, that means we were probably loading too many of the Robotrons in us. No, the Robotrons were loading fine. Let's take a look at the Robotron differences. See what's different in here so it matches up. Okay, well, we didn't need that, so we can get rid of that. It's a very good point. Don't need that. Take our local font pointer, copy that. Yes, work out where the chars are and copy that into the right places in here. Yep. Reset that. Oh, what's that? All right, that's for some reason they're the other way around, but that's fine. Copy 8 characters. Yes. Yep, that's the same. That's the same. It's the same. Okay, this is weird. Looks exactly the same. Okay, let's try it again. Now I've got the actual right values in. Finally, a color picture. Eee, cutie. Cute doggy. Nope, still getting weird characters. Start, have a look, see what's going on. Make sure everything's compiled properly in here, build properly. Looks like it has. Doesn't seem to see any errors. Always the case, isn't it? The simplest things somehow seem to just take ages. Something screws up and I end up taking way longer than I probably should have done on things. Yeah, you can see again. I mean, it's copied the right amount now, but it's jumping 2 at a time, and it's not incrementing the other counter. So, well, I mean, this is easy enough to fix, right? So, I chose in the bin file. Okay, yeah, they should be fine. I can see what's going on. It's just copying the same. It's copying the same thing here from the font fetch, and the font vec is not incrementing as well. So I'm either making a mistake when I increment the font vec, which is this one here, and the font fetch. Let's have a look at the font fetch. Oh, hang on. I think I've made a mistake there. Hang on. Font fetch. Okay, so this should be font fetch, which explains everything. Yeah, it's just a copy pasta error. I mean, how many pinball games are there? I'm intrigued as to what this is now. Ah, okay. Steps was close. Hey, there we go. Right, so the only problem now is obviously it's too high. We just need to knock it down one. Which is this one here. Button. Right, okay, let's see. This time, hopefully. Oh, it spawned in a different place this time. Okay, so there's just the sprite flicker. That's one thing to deal with. And then there's this weird thing that seems to be to do with the multiplexer or something. I'm not sure. But if I shoot this from up here, it's not dying. Why is it not dying? Makes me think I've not put this in the right place. Oh, okay, that's because I haven't done this. We'll get there in the end. Let's see if we can figure out why the sprite's flickering. So the sprite would flicker because it's being updated at the wrong time. So I think what we probably need to do. Well, actually, no, the pod position is set here. And the frames are set here. Okay. Maybe it's not 0 we need to set. If we've got a blank frame in the... Yeah, it's not 0, it's another weird value. It's going to be something I can't remember. It's that one there, 47. Should make that constant, really. Do that in a second if this works. There we go. Right. It should explode now. Except it's not doing. Oh, poo. Okay. 1273. Let's just check that that's right in here. Materials. Where's the materials? Herosa with a raid of 56. Wow. Let's wait for the music to finish. Oh my god, a minute. I'm going to sneeze as well. This is really not good. No sneeze. Great. That was what a beautiful entry. Welcome everybody. That was me mid sneeze or mid not sneeze. Welcome everybody. Thank you very much, Rosa, for the raid. What have you been doing tonight? I'm really interested to see. Whenever I see software endgame, it always makes me Very interested to see what people are up to. But yeah, welcome along everybody. I'm Shannon50K. I do retro game development in assembly, or a very kind of modern version of assembly, which kind of looks kind of C-like in a way. I do C64, I do Game Boy, I do Mega 65, and hopefully next year I'll be doing Mega Drive, my first ever foray into a 68,000 assembly, which I'm kind of looking forward to be honest. But we shall see. Anyway, welcome along, everybody. I hope you enjoy the stream. It's a good time to be in the stream, actually. I may as well plug my Christmas stream while we're at it. So we're giving away lots of prizes at Christmas using simplex noise for terrain generation. Oh, cool. I did something a long time ago, actually, in what was that Xbox XNA? I did something in XNA that had terrain generation from noise maps. It was really cool, and it had like, depending on the strength of the value, so it was like a black and white noise map. But the whiter something was, then the higher it would be, obviously. So you use it as a height map. But then I would have zones. So at certain levels, it would be sand. Then a bit higher, it'd be grass. Then it would be rock, and then it would be snow. So you would have kind of terrain that had kind of nice texturing throughout it, multi-texturing on it. It's kind of cool. But yeah, we do competitions and stuff. And at Christmas, we're giving away tons of prizes. So we've got a couple of these to give away to the people on the quiz. So you'll see a little scoreboard just down there. There's two scoreboards. There's one for AMK points, which are points for helping me out on stream. So if somebody spots a bug with the code or gives me a tip regarding the code, they get points for that. There's also one for the quiz. So you can see just down in the corner down there, there's a little quiz and race timer. When that hits 0, there's a little screenshot quiz that comes up, and then there's a little racing game that comes up. But the screenshot quiz has a table as well, and that's what's down at the bottom. After this table's displayed, it will show the quiz table, and the winner of those both receive one of these Raspberry Pi retro cubes, which is a little custom 3D printed kind of Mario cube with a Raspberry Pi in it and a cooling fan and stuff on it. So it's very nice. We're giving away Mega 65 to the winner of a competition which closes tomorrow. So the Mega 65 is a brand new reimagining of the C65 prototype that never got released. We should be giving away that prize on that same stream on the 23rd of December. And we're also giving away a PS5 to one lucky subscriber. So if you are subscribed to me this month, and a Twitch Prime counts as well, you join the 23rd of December stream, then you are in with a chance of winning a PlayStation 5 full non-digital disc version. So I will be giving that away, and I ship to anywhere in the world as well. You will have to cover customs charges yourself, but I will cover the shipping charges. Hopefully we get plenty of people join that, and we'll do a marbles on stream kind of race for the PS5, and the winner walks away with it. Looking forward to that. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to be playing lots of games as well. We're going to do some games with the streams. We're going to play like Worms and some Jackbox party games and things like that. It's going to be a fun thing. And I'm going to wear a Christmas hat. I'm going to wear a Santa hat. So it's worth it just to see me in a Santa hat. VAT would kill you. Unfortunately, it's not going to be for everybody. Unfortunately, shipping from the UK to the rest of the world is going to suck a little bit. So I do need to make people aware that if you do enter that competition, you are responsible for customs charges. I will ship it in a relatively large box, so it's going to cost me quite a bit to ship it anyway. But I will have to mark it exactly what it is, because I don't want to get into trouble with the customs and stuff for that. So if your country has incoming customs charges for items like that, then you will have to cover those. I know Finland is quite a lot, yeah. And I will mark it as probably £400. So you're probably looking at about £100 for most places, I think, in terms of customs charges, which sucks a bit. But I mean, £100 for a PlayStation 5 is not a problem. But yeah, anyway, let's crack on with this. So we're looking at this game for the Mega 65, Cecconoid. And we're just working our way through why this piece of code doesn't want to work right now. And I'm not, pardon me, I'm not entirely sure why it's not working. It should be, but should be is not, it is. So we shall see what's going on here. Okay, I mean, this looks correct. I don't see a problem with it, but certainly it's not letting me blow this up at all. Don't know why. It's not even, so the border should flash when I hit something. So if I go in here, it's going to disappear now anyway, but when I hit stuff, it should flash like that. But when I hit that box, which won't be there now, because of the way the dynamic loading of this screen works, it should flash the screen, but it's not doing. Which makes me oh, I know what it is. It's because I need to be up one row on here, because the map RAM doesn't have that top row. The top row is the HUD. So yeah, I've got to remember that. I've got to get it sunk into my head. All proceeds to go back. Shall I have a Z80? But I don't need a Z80 book. It's easy mode. Just take 6502 and write 10 lines for every one that you would write in 6502, and that's Z80. It's pretty easy. I'd also forget that the flags don't work properly as well every now and again. Spend about an hour trying to deal with that. There we go. Okay, yeah, so we've got this like weird flashing on that, so we need to fix that. And you can see there's a lot of slowdown when that happens, so there's something very odd going on. I suspect it's to do with the multiplexer, but I'm not entirely sure. But there's definitely some slowdown happening here. You can see it in the particles. They're really, really, really slow. So let's see if we can figure out why that's happening. What I do need next is a 68,000 book. I don't have a book on 68,000, and I should try and get one. I'm hoping there's a good kind of 68,000 for Mega Drive book. That would be the most useful for me. I'm sure there is somewhere. I'm sure I'll find one. So if I shoot from down here, I know I still get it, but look, we still get that slowdown. It's definite slowdown, and I'm not entirely sure why that's happening. Okay, let's have a look what's going on in here. Okay, so what happens? We spawn a speed power up when we hit it, but maybe it's not clearing those sprites properly. Maybe there's something weird with the sprites. So let's not do anything other than actually no, it's not. Problem is it adds these sprites at the beginning, right? So we add these sprites in, and I think we need to remove them properly, and I'm not entirely sure what we should be doing to remove them. Let me check the multiplexer code, because the multiplexer has got a reset button or reset function, so maybe we can just check in there, see what happens when we reset. Clear sprites. Okay, so we set raster positions and frames and Y positions. Okay, we set raster positions. That's an interesting point that I wasn't thinking of. So let's try doing that. That's probably what the problem is, actually. The raster positions aren't reset, so here we go. So here we set in frame. Okay, so that sets the frame. Where's the Y position, though? I don't see where we're setting the Y position. Okay, I think we need to do a few things here. So we'll set the frame, we'll keep the frame as that for now. And then we need to set this to... Oh, hang on, we need to do this individually for each one. All right, because there's two sprites here, so... Separate this like this, there we go. YPOS and what was it, raster. there as well. Should be fine. Anyway, regardless of how I feel about Z80, I did enjoy my time writing for the Game Boy. It was a fun little machine to work for, and as much as I complain about Z80, it's not that bad. I just prefer 6502. It feels a bit more concise to me. There's some things I would like to have seen in 6502 that are in Z80, and I'm sure there's things in 6502 that I would, yeah, the other way around. Anyway, it's still not right, is it? There's still something weird going on. Okay. Let me try setting the frames to 0 now instead. See if that helps. We're just duplicating exactly the same functionality. I'll say this raspberry lemonade is delicious. Keep wanting to just drink it all the time. No. See, it's still slow down. Still an issue with that sprite being spawned. Now, is it because the other two sprites have been used? Is that what's happening? If I don't do anything with those sprites, if I just ignore the fact that those sprites even exist, so if I just like cancel all of that and cancel that as well, and then cancel the actual creation of those sprites, which is this bit here. The logic behind it will still run, so the pod Y position will still update, but we won't see a sprite. So I wonder if that is what's causing it. Because if it is what's causing it, it should be easy to fix. We just need to figure out why that might be causing it. But so there it is. Yeah, okay, so it's definitely to do with those two sprites that spawn. Which means we probably need to figure out how to remove these properly. I think that's the problem, is they're not being removed properly. So let's try spawning them but not moving them, so not updating them. I don't think that's going to matter. Because we do need to spawn the stars as well, which means we definitely do need the multiplexer to be behaving properly. Okay, so we've still got two sprites at the top. We've not cleared them. See, that one's fine now. It seems to be just moving them down, moving these down here causes an issue. Could it be that we are still trying to update stuff on every frame? Let's have a look. Let's have a look. So we would update the pod Y speed. If it's not equal to 0, then we jump to here. So are we setting pod Y speed to 0 at the end? Well, we're not changing it at all. Well, actually, we are setting it here. Okay, so that would mean that this would get skipped. Otherwise, if it's not 0, what happens? It comes into here and does all this crap. And then at the very end, we reach this when it spawns. Okay, so this is definitely happening, but something in here is causing us an issue. Okay, let's move. Oops. Let's move the sprite, but let's not get rid of it. So we'll just leave it running to the bottom, but not remove it, and see what happens. It's just a matter of kind of. Oop, I did not want to pin that to the taskbar. I wanted to close that window. It's just a matter of kind of tracking it down, slowly going through and kind of divide and conquering it all until we figure out what it is. Series 56. Is this, who's this Series 56? Oh, this looks like a Gaheen one. Okay, so we're not removing it now, so you can see it's kind of doubled up. Yeah, so it seems to just be those sprites being down there that's the problem. So what happens if I, instead of doing, okay, so we're moving it down. So instead of doing this, what I'm going to do instead, I'm going to set the frames to blank so we don't see them. And I'm going to set the Y position to something, something at the top somewhere. I think there's an initial YPOS start. Yeah, set to that. So we're just going to put it back where it started because we was having no problems with it there. It's a kind of bit of a hacky workaround, but at the moment, I just want to verify that it's something to do with that. I don't know why we can't remove sprites properly from the screen. That's going to be a point of problem later on if we're not careful. So I definitely do need to figure out why that is the case. Can have a look at the multiplex and see when a sprite gets basically released, how it gets released properly, like what causes it to be reassigned again, and what causes it to not render, which I thought was the frame, but apparently not. Yeah, see, now it works. Okay. So let's have a look at multiplexer again. Let's have a look. So when we clear the sprites, what are we doing? We're setting the frame to 0, setting the raster and YPOS to FF, and then we're just going through and doing that to all the sprites. But when we get the next sprite, what are we looking for? We're looking next free sprite. Okay, so we're looking for the frame is equal to 0. Okay, so frame needs to be 0 for it to be fetched. So at the moment, those sprites are not being cleared properly. So while they're not being they're not being drawn because it's an empty sprite, it's not actually being cleared from the multiplexer list. So they are actually being sorted and treated as if they did have some data in them. So let's have a look. How do we skip a sprite? If a sprite is, well, it's going to be in the sort list, I think, isn't it? Based on the Y position. So actually, we don't have any way of skipping the sprite. The sprite is just sorted based on its Y position. So if its Y position is FF, then that means it's going to disappear off the screen. So if I was to, let's try. See, this is a problem though. If I do this, it doesn't seem to work. So set those back to 0. You see, this should be enough to stop them from rendering, but it doesn't. It seems to go into a weird, some kind of weird loop of some kind. Ah, hang on. I think I know. Oh no, because the sprite disappears before the power up appears, so it should be fine. Twitch is being weird, is it? That doesn't surprise me. Twitch has been very flaky of late. I hope Amazon. I hope Jeff's all right. I hope he's paying his bills. It really struggles if I do that. That's really odd. Really, really odd. So what should happen is it should get into the sort routine and it will get pushed to the bottom of the sort list. But it shouldn't matter because it's at the bottom of the sort list. It should just basically not render because there's like a maximum. Last possible raster F2. So once it gets to that point, it should just stop rendering anyway. So they shouldn't appear at all. Let's have a look in the debug. Let's see what's going on. it on this view so we can actually see what's going on here. So we should be able to see the sprites with the red boxes around them. So you can see there's a sprite down there with just some garbage in it. And as I kill things, so you can see the sprite has been removed. There's no sprites on the screen. There's only this one here and whatever that is down there. But well, I assume it's a few of them. But they're not. There's only 2 actually being shown on the or be enabled on the screen. According to this, a bit up here. What happens if I shoot though? That's the thing. What's going on with the... Then it starts showing every sprite down here. And they all suddenly become enabled as well. Okay, which makes me think there's something very odd with the multiplayer. So what happens if that stops and disappears? Which it will do in a second. Interesting. Interesting. Just the act of that power-up being on the screen seems to cause all sorts of weird issues. But it seems to be related to the 2 sprites that we add at this point here. Okay, let's have a think. What might be doing that? Okay, what's this number here? What's that about? Let's have a look. Screen macros. Okay, well that makes sense. Could it be some optimization value for that screen? Yeah, possibly. That's a good point. Let's take a look. I don't think so though. I think we're pretty lax with the performance on here. Yeah, 15 sprites. I mean that should be plenty. I mean, let me set it to 20, see if that makes any difference. Should make a difference though, because there's not that many sprites on this screen. And the weird thing is all the other sprites are oh, maybe it's to do with the red flashing sprites that they're like the spawning sprites for the Robotron things. Maybe they're for some reason causing problems. Thanks for the host, Andy, as well. Appreciate it. Maybe it's those sprites there that are causing the issue. Let's see how they're removed. Maybe I'm not removing those correctly as well. So in spawn, and there should be like a spawner sprite thing, isn't that? So what I did, draw a spawn sprite. Here we go. Okay, where are they removed though? Okay, so it sets the frame to 0. This, yeah, I mean, this is all looks fine. Don't see any reason why this would stop working. Literally, all it's looking for when it gets the next sprite is what the frame number is. And if the frame is 0, then it can get a sprite to fill that gap in. So you can see here, get next free sprite. We keep going until this frame is non-zero. Sorry, this frame is 0. When this frame is 0, we've found and we can go to here. It could be getting stuck in this for some reason. Wouldn't have thought so. Because it shouldn't be retrieving every frame. Stinghouse, yeah. mean, Sean's getting in on the backgrounds now. Sean's got a series he wants to do. Hopefully they'll give that to me before the weekend. Why are you doing this? So we're getting loads of lag, but then as soon as that disappears, the lag should subside as well. Am I updating something incorrectly? Maybe I'm updating the wrong sprite or something. Let me put that back to 15. The pod left index, pod right index, they're stored in the X register. Is it the X register that is returned? Well, it's the accumulator that's returned here. But in here we're using the X. So let's see what let's add Sprite. Oh, there we go. Transfer accumulator to X. So yeah, it is the X register because we transfer it back to here straight away. Yeah, okay, so that's correct. Well, I mean, it must be correct, or else they wouldn't have loaded correctly anyway. So we know that the update, something about this removal at the end is causing that. If I get rid of the removal, framing isn't very good. Yeah. Oh, damn it. Come on. I want this to work because I want to get onto the other screens. The new screens are kind of exciting and I want to do some new stuff. Yeah, see, no, it flickers there as well. Something about it being at that position for some reason. Y position. Speed. Okay. Well, we know what works, so I mean we can maybe just do this, but I mean entirely happy with it though. But it should mean that when the next sprite gets, it should replace these ones anyway. But it does mean I have to. Actually, no, it won't because well, hang on, let's have a look what happens. I think we're just going to get junk now. I think that's the problem. I think if I put more Robotrons on the screen, it's going to become a problem. That's what I don't understand is how all the other stuff on the spawning thing worked fine, just not this one. What's that? Nice. If I done? Did I not press the right button? I don't think I pressed the right button, did I? There we go. Okay. So I think the next task is to add loads of those Robotrons back in. Yeah, so you see the flicker of it appearing up there and then it disappears. So it's like that is the right way to remove it, but it's not. You get a flicker because it does appear for one frame. For one frame, you see the wrong thing, basically. And that's because we're setting this frame to 0 here. they do seem to be properly removed at that point. They don't seem to stick around anymore. So I wonder, right, if we set the frame, where are we actually setting this? This is being set probably way before. Well, the multiplex is always a frame behind. So the data that's in the multiplexer. Ah, no, I think I know. Oh, okay. Okay, I think I know what's going on. We're setting data directly in the multiplexer, and we're setting it while the multiplexer is still doing something. Ideally, we want to set this before the multiplexer sorts. But we're setting it after it's been sorted. So we're going in and messing around with values in the list. So that's why we're getting a flash of it on the screen. It doesn't matter for most things, but when we're dynamically adding and removing sprites, it could be problematic. So yeah, the normal solution here is to do this, is to set these values, but then setting these values seems to cause us problems. So why would that be causing us problems? So really shouldn't. That's the weird thing. It really shouldn't be setting it giving us problems. So once we get to here, these are no longer being rendered. These should just be ignored completely, and they should be sorted to the bottom of the list because they've got FF in this position. I mean, I can put them at the top of the list, but I mean that's a break. I always when I just get a breath of fresh air and go to the toilet, sometimes I just solve things. It's a weird thing, but it does happen. Gumption traps, as I said before, send them out of motorcycle maintenance. Sometimes when you're stuck in a problem, just walk away from it for 5 minutes and the answer might come to you. And the same goes for programming as well. So what I don't understand is why is it stuck in this weird flickery state down there? So what I'm going to do, I am going to, first of all, just reverse these things. If you know this works, there is a flicker, but we know it works. But then what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn on the rest of the Robotrons for this screen. So we're going to look at the full screen and see what happens at the end. I think I've not heard this for a while. Yeah, that should be what's happening here. But I think the problem is it really shouldn't matter. It really shouldn't matter. And if it does break, it would only be for one frame. That's the odd thing. It seems to be getting into a really weird state. I mean, it's definitely something to do that. It's got to be, right? It can't be anything else. You see how these are absolutely fine. These don't cause a problem. All those sprites are spawning for the little warning signs, and they're absolutely fine. They don't cause an issue at all. Oh no, there you go. Boom, issue. Okay, but again, it's kind of sorted itself out. I think it's a positioning thing. I think there's certain. What? Multiplayer issues, isn't it? That's what it is. Okay. Yeah. Well, actually, the bonus did come out because I sped up, but it didn't show on screen. So I think there's. Yeah, there's some weird issues here. I think what might is tricky because there's some text. Yeah, the text was it was that thing appearing and disappearing. Just trying to think of the easiest way to deal with this and not cause huge issues everywhere. All right. I'm going to try it again. So the first thing I guess we need to sort out is why the flickering is happening. I think it is because of the dynamic nature of adding and removing things from the multiplexer. As my Beagle says, I might have to create a shadow list for them. But because of the way that I'm dynamically loading code in, I never know if there is going to be a shadow list or not. So I either have to replace all instances of Sprite updates, which is going to be an absolute pigging nightmare, or I have to find a way to deal with this through the multiplexer, which should be possible through the multiplexer. The multiplexer could be made a bit more smart. You see, so it's managing those all right. I'm not managing to kill them, but it's managing to display the red sealer. It's managing those all right. So it's only the red things. The Robotrons themselves are not sprites; these are characters. But the little red warning signs are. See, they're fine. That could just be a number of sprites on a line issue, right? That could just be I was unlucky that I managed to get too many sprites on a line. So yeah, there's a little flash where those appear, and then there's no bonus because it's invisible because it's not being rendered. Okay, so let's think about this. Is it a positional thing down there? Maybe. We spawned a lot of sprites, so those warning signs that each one of those is a sprite. The limit for this screen is 15 sprites. We're using 3 reserved sprites, 2 of which don't appear on the screen at all, but 3 are absolutely reserved, which means there are 5 sprites which get multiplex throughout the screen, which means you can have 5 on a line before it causes a problem. Now, could it just be that those warning signs are not being... No, it's not the warning signs, though, is it? Because it's even with just 1, we have the problem. So I'm going to take a quick break. I'm going to take a 5-minute break, and then when I come back, we'll take a look. We'll have a think. I'm going to have a quick think about what this might be. Sometimes, just like I say, walking away from it for 5 minutes helps kind of clear the mind a little bit. We have a workaround, but it's not ideal. I really don't want to have to, push this problem further down the line, because that's what will happen if I just do the workaround. It's just going to crop up somewhere else. I don't want it to. So yeah, just going to take 5 minutes, guys. Going to go to toilet, go for a quick smoke, and then figure out what to do. All right, I'll be back in a few minutes, guys. Be right back. Okay, I think I've got an idea what might be going on. So I think what's happening is it's a flaw in the multiplexer. I think what's happening is the multiplexer. I can test. Well, in fact, I've already tested the theory. It's to do with the position. So when this sprite, the bonus pod sprite, is removed, it's still got an entry in the sorted list, but now its position is at FF. And then when the power up is spawned, because as soon as you blow, because it should already be removed. But I think it's to do with that. I think the entry in the list means that there's a position at FF, and so it waits for the next raster for the new sprite, which may be higher on the screen. So if we don't spawn the power up above where we removed the previous sprite, then it won't be a problem. But what we are doing is spawning it above, because the sprite's been removed here. And then the bonus sprite is just above it. So I think we can fix it in the multiplexer. And I've got a few things to try. So I'm going to leave the code in the correct format, which is correctly kind of setting these to FF here as well, and also setting the raster position. So this is the correct way to clear a sprite. And this should almost be something, this should be, oops. Oh, God damn it. Right, let's do that. Let's take this and in our multiplexer, we'll create a function that does that. So this is the correct way to remove a sprite. And we know it's the correct way because that's what we're doing here to remove the sprites. The problem is that we seem to be running into problems when we do this dynamically. So if we don't do it at the beginning of the screen, but we remove stuff and add stuff during the flow of a screen, we run into problems. And I think the reason that's happening is down to the loop, which actually checks whether or not we should be rendering the next sprite or not. So we have this sprite raster, which I think is part of the sort. So this is the sort, and this works out what raster line we should be going on. And then down here, somewhere we set that raster to say, right, we're ready. Here we go. So so we have a to do investigate here as well. Interesting. But what we should be doing here is if this raster is FF, we should be skipping this sprite completely and grabbing the next sprite. So at the moment that's grabbed from here. So if I try something like this, so if I do just jump ahead like that. Otherwise, what we're going to do is we're going to increment that value. And we're going to jump to, we'll call it refetch. And hopefully what that will do is it will ignore sprites that have a raster of FF and it will go on to the next one. Because I think it's doing is it's setting a raster at FF, then it's trying to set one before it. So you're missing an entire frame, which is why we see slowdown, because we're skipping a frame every time. And we're seeing the because the multiplexer hands off to other rasters which deal with frame code as well, like set the frame code stuff. Steps doing? Are you all right, Steps? Okay, let's try this. I think this might fix it. So we're still going to get a bit of flickering on these if we get too many rendering in the same position. I did try and stagger these out, but I don't think it's... There we go. I should have maybe reduced... In fact, yeah, let me reduce them. I don't need all those again. Is that Thalamus by any chance? It's... I can't see. It is, yes. Welcome, Thalamus. I always recognize Thalamus' entry because the Steve Rollins tunes come out, which is always good. And you can't mistake a Steve Rollins tune, mainly because you've heard them a million times. But they've got great bass lines, always easy to recognize. Elevate, yes, indeed, yes. I used to so the Megamix tapes that were on Commodore format. I listened to them so much. Ah, damn no. Okay, so we're still getting a slowdown, but I think what's happening is it's due to that positioning. Because if I change the position, it stops doing that. So I still think it's something to do with this. So let me just cancel out what I've done there, just in case that's going to cause us any problems. We've also got this here. So this, if the frame is non-zero, it goes to here. Otherwise, it jumps to exit sprite raster. It's saying if the frame is 0, we don't do anything. But let's try changing that to jump to refetch instead. So instead of exiting the raster straight away, we jump to refetch. It's going to be along these lines. There's going to be something in here that's not quite flexible enough. And the problem with multiplex, oh no, see, that's caused all sorts of weird stuff. All right. Oh, I know why. Because refetch should also do this. Otherwise, it's just going to get stuck in a loop doing that. Okay. It's always a trade-off between how much you actually want to do in the multiplexer because of cycle time and kind of the flexibility of the thing. So the more cycle time you want to free up, the less flexible the multiplexer becomes. So when you're trying to write generic multiplexes, you can get into some kind of pretty nasty scenarios, like we are at the moment. No, still getting that slowdown, and I'm pretty sure that slowdown is due to the list that's being rendered. So actually, the next thing we can do then in that case is we can put that back and we can go and have a look at the list and figure out what might be causing that problem. So let's just get rid of that. Let's get rid of that. Let's put a marker up here so we can see where that list is. You're interested in the rasters. That's the bit that matters. We're also interested in the 0-page sorted indexes, because the 0 page is where we do the sorting of these indexes here. And that's already marked, which is good. Okay, so let's run this and put a breakpoint in pretty much as soon as that power-up gets spawned, I guess. No, actually, it's... We need to run it in here, don't we? Yeah, we need to run it in here. We need to pause it when we hit that problem. So let's just build it. And then go and have a look at what those things look like in memory. Okay, so... 5036. So 5036 is our list of rasters. Where is this bit? That is at... So let me write these numbers down. Oops. 5036. So that's where our raster list is, and we need to cross-reference that with our 0-page stuff, which I'm not sure what there is. Sprite indexes. So Sprite indexes are at 6C. Okay. So this is going to give it as a list of Sprite indexes. So this is going to be the order that they are rendered in. And then 5036 will give us the rasters, and we'll be able to write that list out and see if there's a problem there, which I'm pretty sure there's going to be. And then we can just work out how, as we're traversing that list, what we should be doing. So let's get into a buggy state first. Okay, so let's shoot that thing. Oops. I forget it's this weird control method in here. All right. Okay, so no bugs at the moment. But the moment we shoot this, we're in that weird bug. Oh, damn it. I think I grabbed it before. Oh, no, it's not. I've not grabbed it yet. I need to shoot from the top, don't I? Oh, damn it. All right, let me refresh. Have I got that open? All right. Also, I don't think I think this here should. Oh no, it doesn't kill me. Okay, it went past me. That's fine. I was thinking it probably should have killed me, and it didn't. Okay. Okay, so we're definitely in a buggy state now. If I put this here, you can see it's flashing. Okay, so let's go and have a look at memory now. So if I go to 6C, was it? There we go. So our sprite list is 0, 1, A, 9, 7, 8, 6, 5, 2, 3, 4, B, C, D, E. 2, 3, 4, B, C, D, E, F. B, C, D, E, F. 1, 0, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 3, and I think that's the end of the list. Right. Now, I know the first two sprites in this list are always going to be the character and I think the mask, because it looks like we've got two reserved sprites. If you look in first free sprite, I believe is the one, and then have a look in here. No, it's in the constants, isn't it? First free sprite is, oh, it says 04 actually, but I think that's, what's it, 04? Oh no, it's not that we're looking at here. It's this bit here from the sorting. Okay, so when we clear the sprites, we clear from 2 onwards, and when we sort the sprites, we'll sort from 2 onwards as well. Okay, yeah, sort sprite plus 2, plus 2, plus 2. Okay, so yeah, the first two sprites are ignored, but we'll still look at the values that are in there. So we're going to have a look at 5036. We can see what the raster lines are for these sprites. So if I go to 5036, which is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you see the first two are 0, and that's because the first two don't well. The first two are the main sprites. They're always going to be drawn, so they're drawn regardless of where you are on the screen. The split's always going to be at the top. Then we've got 3 at F1, so that F1 is the probably what's causing us the problem. So we've got but this isn't the order that they're drawn in. So let's just how best to do this. All right, so we need to find 0A. So A plus here is this one here. So 1, 4 becomes the next split. So there's a split at 1, 4, which has that one in it. And it also has the previous one in it, 9. And it also has 7, 8, 6, 5. So the previous 4 before that. So all of those sprites are at 1, 4. 1, 4, 1, 4, 1, 4. Okay. And then sprite 2 is there as well. No, actually 2 is at F1. So, and then 3, 4, F1, F1 as well. And then we've got B, C, D, E, which are these ones here. So B, C, D, E, which are F1 as well. F1, 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 2, 3, 4, F1, F1. Yeah, and then E is at 1, 7. So the moment we get to sprite 14, we're on this one here. And I think this is the problem. It's doing the rasters for these ones, and then it should be doing the rasters for these ones. And these rasters are less than these ones, so they shouldn't be being shown. So I think the solution then in that case is if we take the multiplexer, and where we do the working out what the next raster is going to be, set the next sprite split. So this bit that we're doing here, we need to compare this value to the previous raster. So how is that going to be done? We need to kind of get the previous raster. Sprite sorted indexes. Just trying to think the easiest way to do this now. This raster needs to be less, so this needs to be compared to this value. It's almost like this is causing a problem. And I do have investigate value here. But what's happening if it's less, it's saying draw this sprite directly, and actually maybe the correct solution here is don't draw the sprite at all, skip this one completely, go on to the next one. But then we run into, so the reason this is here is if two sprites are very close together and you draw one and it goes to draw the next one and it says, okay, we need to set a raster for that one. It shouldn't be setting a raster. If they're very close together, it should just be drawing them. But if it's more than that, then it shouldn't be. If it's less than that value, it shouldn't be. If it's much less than that value, even it shouldn't be drawing at all. Kind of need to know the previous raster, don't we? That's what with the previous sprite's value. Just trying to work out the easiest way to do this. Well, actually, if we do this, if we do store as last sprite raster, right? And we do a comparison here. So we compare this raster to the last sprite raster, and if it's less than that, if it's less than this one, we jump to this one, jump exit sprite rasters. So this would be and then that just needs to be a value in here somewhere. And that should be reset to 0 every time we enter the screen. So every time we do a clear sprites, see what happens. I have a feeling what might happen here is sprites might just disappear. So you'll see. If the slowdown stops, it means we're on the right track. Okay, so the slowdown has stopped, which means we're definitely on the right track, but it's now just not drawing those sprites at all. So let's restart the thing again and have another look. Let's just double check those values are in the same place, because I bet they're not now, but they've moved. 5037. Okay, of course it would be just one across. Okay. So I think the problem is that for some reason the sprite positions are set to F1, but they probably shouldn't be set to F1. So let's just have a look at 5037 again, because so that's here. But yeah, see that we've got these F1, F1, F1. None of them are set to FF, and they probably should be set to FF. If they were set to FF, it probably wouldn't be a problem. Okay, no, see, they're set back to F1 again. Why are they set to F1? What the hell is setting them to F1? Okay, well, we can rerun, stick a breakpoint on and see what's doing that. That's the issue. That is the issue. It also means we probably don't need the code I've just done, but I'll leave it in for now. Why are they being set to F1? That's really weird. Where's it going to spawn? Okay, spawn's here. So shoot that. So I need to do this until it spawns. Pause. And then anytime this value is set to F1, so 5039. So anytime it's set to anything other than, well, anytime it's set to F1, actually, that's how we'll do this. Okay, and if I set them to FF, which is what they should be, okay, and then restart. Okay, we've got a break straight away. Well, I mean, that's not actually setting it at all, is it? That's... Where is this code? I have no idea where this code is. Let's have a look. It looks like it's in the multiplexer, looking at this. Okay, so that means that somewhere in here... Oh, no, that's the raster. Hang on, let's look at the Y positions. Okay, Y positions. They are going to be this position here. Build. Oh man, debugging is fun. I was really hoping to get a bit further than I have done tonight. But I jinxed it at the beginning when I said that there would be problems. I've kind of brought it upon myself. Okay, Y positions 4FFB. So the rasters are built based on the Y positions, but the rasters should be only being set if, or only being actioned if the sprite should be being drawn. And if the sprite has got a Y position of FF, then it shouldn't be being drawn. Oh, what the hell has gone on there? Okay. Just make sure that that's all right in the game. Okay, the game's fine. It just must just been a bug as it was loading, probably because I changed the size of the screen or something. There's some weird stuff goes on with this debugger. Okay. I knew this screen was going to be a pain. I just didn't realize it was going to be that much of a pain. And actually, the things that caused me the problems are not the things I thought they were going to be. It's I thought actually getting all those Robotrons on screen was going to be the problem, but it's not. It's dynamic sprites, which would have been a problem on other screens. It just happens to be this screen that we're working on. So yeah, you can see that we've got FF 60 FF. So 60 is the position of this sprite here. Then it's just FF all the way along, and then there's a DA in the middle. So we've just got one sprite in the middle that's in the right place, and then everything else is in a different place. Now let me cross-reference that with the actually, yeah, FF all the way. Look, FF all the way up to here, which is full 20 sprites. And if we compare that to the raster list, which starts from here, we can see our raster list is very weird indeed. Actually, there. Actually, no, that's fine. That's fine. But these rasters are being set. These, for some reason, are 1-4, and they shouldn't be. And then F1, 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 F1. So the only one that we really care about is this one here, which is how many along is that? So that's from 4FFB to 005. So it's, well, I'll just count it. It's easier. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So this is Sprite 10 in the list. So this is Sprite 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so there's some 1-4s in there which are kind of correct. I don't know why there's that many 1-4s in the list, but there are. But more interestingly is why are those rasters being set to F1 everywhere when actually they should be FF? Is there anything other information I can grab from the multiplexer data? No, I mean, that's kind of all I need is those two. I mean, the frames are in front of them as well. So if we look at the raster data, the ones before it are the frames, you can see the frames are, yeah, these are correct as well. We've got this one here, which is our power up, and then the rest are all zero. So the fact that these are zero and they have a position of FF should imply that they're not being displayed at all. But something seems to be still treating them like they're in the display list. Okay, so let me go back to the multiplexer bit of code that I put in. Where was it? Let's get rid of that instead. Let's just delete that now, actually. We're comparing the raster here, but in fact, what I think we should be doing, we'll keep the refetch in, but this time we'll change this. We'll say if this is F1 or higher, then we'll refetch, otherwise we'll jump to there. I don't know why F1 is the number. I have no idea what that is. It's probably to do with the padding or something. But if this works, then we'll figure out why that is and make that number something that's calculated rather than just a magic number. Okay, fingers crossed. Boom, there we go. So there's still a bit of a flicker, but I think that's because we've weirdly got some other sprites on the screen at the same time. So when we move in for that, there's a bit of a flicker. But it's improved. So it means we're on the right lines. The question is, what is the flicker about now? So let's let's try and work out why it's F1. So where does it get F1 from when it's filling in the rasters? So let's find where that's been set. I think that's in the sort routine, actually. That's the draw routine. This is this is the sort routine. This is the store. Okay. So the 1-4 is because that's the default first position. Subtract direct padding. Okay. So I think what we'll find. Oh no, direct padding is 0.2. Okay, that doesn't make any sense. Recalculate the sprites to 0.1. So no. Okay. Where's it grabbing that value? Here we go. No. Y position temps plus Vic index. Okay, so we're grabbing the actual. Okay. So we're adding 21 plus the direct padding. So 23 is the value we add to it. Which means if the Y position. Okay. So if the Y position is FF, that means these values are going to be 23, 22 minus 220. So the value is going to be 1.4. They're going to be up here. There's the problem. Okay, right. So in that case, what we need to do is we need to say, so this is in the sort routine, so I've got to be careful here. Let's think. If that value is... Let's put it here like that. All right. Because we shouldn't need to set anything else at this point. That should be enough. It's a comparison and a branch. That's going to be 5 cycles max if the branch is taken, 2 if it's not. So not ideal, and there's an error here somewhere. Oh, because it's this inside the loop. It is inside the loop. Okay, that's good. Right, I think that's going to be it. So we've added 5 cycles per sprite to the list, so it's like an extra line. That's not too bad. 2 lines actually. Hey Santa. Still a little bit of a flicker. I wonder why that's there. It's definitely improved, and I think now if I take the other check out, it should be fine. So in here, which is probably better because this allows us tighter sprites if we get rid of this. So if I get rid of that, it should still work, hopefully, because now the rasters are being set to FF. So why is the flicker happening? Couldn't tell you why the flicker's happening, but it's definitely improved. No, okay, we definitely need that one in then as well. Okay, so we have to keep that in. I'm really not keen on this being what it is. So I should be able to set that now because we've dealt with that issue previously. Yeah, okay. I have no idea. That's what I'm trying to figure out. It's there's something weird going on with the multiplexer. I've tried to make the multiplexer far too general, and I think it's causing me issues. Unfortunately, there isn't really a way to do the multiplexer and not have it general in this game because I do need it to do all sorts of weird stuff. Yeah, see, look, slow down and flicker on that till I get close to it. So as soon as it moves away from that bottom position, it's fine. It's something to do with that lower position. I don't know why that's here. Certainly setting frames to, yeah, let me also, while we're at it, clear that other sprite. So where was it? In here. When those sprites are cleared, which I think is this one here. Frame, yeah, so we should just be able to do so we don't have to keep repeating that code. Saves a few bytes here and there. No, the aliens are characters. the aliens are done with. So the hazard signs are sprites. The aliens themselves are characters, which is why they move kind of not as smooth as you would expect with a sprite. That's a sprite as it moves down. Now it's characters when it's at the bottom of the screen. But there is a flicker as you go to pick it up. I don't know why. I want to test something. I want to get the other. Should probably get rid of that border flash when you hit something as well. So what I want to do now is I want to get the power up out here, but I want to approach it from the top like this. No flicker. Oh, why? And so that's the other thing. The splits are dynamic as well. So nothing, there's no splits that are kind of hard coded. They're all dynamically set. I just wonder if for some reason that split down here is causing an issue. Well, it's only causing an issue at very certain points on the screen, and that's the bit I don't understand. I mean, it's definitely improved, though. I mean, it was a flickery mess before, so... No, the Robotron screen is unloaded at that point, so the only update that's happening on that screen at this point is this Robo Prize update. And this, if the pod speed is 0, it doesn't do anything. It just exits immediately. So there isn't actually anything happening in here. Once that bonus pod has spawned, the pod speed is set to 0. The sprite is removed, and it doesn't cause us any more issues. But see, here's the weird thing, right? So you could see there was some flickering going on there. If I take my code for the clear one, let me just grab it out of here. This is why I'm absolutely certain it's to do with the multiplexer, because, well, partly because just changing that little bits of code that I've just done now has definitely improved it a lot. But secondly, if I do this, instead of just doing the normal clear, if instead of doing a normal clear, I do this instead, and I move it up to like 70, get rid of that raster. Let's just get rid of that line, actually. What you'll see is the sprite change to 0, so you get a 1 frame of kind of errors. Can you change the border color on every split? Yes, kind of. I can definitely do it on the. Yeah, I mean, I'll do it in a second. I should be able to do it mostly, I think. The problem is there's so many dynamic splits going on. It's kind of, it's tricky to make sure I get them all, but I can try it. But I'm not sure that's going to be 2 splits too close together. Oh yeah, absolutely. I think that's what's happening. But I think the reason it's happening is because the multiplex is getting confused. It's not that they're too close together. It's that one split is happening at position X, and the next split, instead of being below that position, it's for some reason being above it. So it's waiting an entire frame to show the next one. And I think that's the problem. The dynamic splits are failing in a very specific case in the multiplexer. And I just try to figure out what that specific case is right now. We'll get it, though. We'll get it. So yeah, there you go. So you saw the sprite appear at the top there, a little flash. See the sprite at all at that time. Okay. Which is what convinces me it's definitely to do with the removal of this pod. If, like I say, if I stop, right, let's show you another reason why I know it's to do with the multiplexer. So if I don't spawn the pod, the moving pod, the sprite that actually moves down the screen, which means I shouldn't be doing any of this. So I don't need to be drawing the pod. I don't need to be clearing the pod. Right, so now there's no pod's going to appear, but it will move down the screen, in memory. It just won't be rendered to the screen. There's no sprite added to the screen for that. You will see it appear as characters at the bottom when it hits the bottom. But there probably won't be any problem with it in this case. So there you go. It appears at the bottom. No slowdown. It's definitely to do with that sprite. It's definitely to do with those two sprites that get added. For some reason, when they clear, they're not clearing properly. So I don't think I need to do anything else in the multiplayer. So let's see if I can figure out how to change it in here. So let's re-enable them. So let's put the sprites back on. So now the sprites are spawning, but let's not move them. Let's just leave it at the top this time. So there's the sprite at the top. The memory position says it's at the bottom now. So let's go and shoot it. There's the bonus. No slowdown. So it's to do with this being here but hidden. When it gets hidden, it doesn't seem to get hidden properly for some reason. Now, it could be to do with the order that things get done in, which is quite likely, but unfortunately, again, because of the way the dynamic screen's loading, we can't really move that code around. Yeah, it's to do with the position on the screen. So what happens is the position of the box at the bottom of the screen, it should get set to FF. It should get set to 255. That's what indicates to the multiplexer that there's nothing to do here now. This sprite is off screen and it's no longer used. But for some reason, it's getting confused. I don't think it's because particularly that it moves down. It's more to do with where we end up kind of removing it to, if you like. I mean, I'm pretty sure if I change the floor position, so I make it move down and just change the floor, there'll come a point where it's all right, and then there'll come a point which once it crosses it will cause issues. Let me just put these things back in. So let's put the original code back in. So let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of that. Put that back in. Okay, so we're now doing the same thing again. Pod speed gets set to 0 straight away. That should... And pod Y position gets set to FF. That means that when we get to this point, we no longer run this update code. So that should be fine. Could it be this? I don't think it's that, because we skip over this. This is just when we reset. So there shouldn't be anything in here that causes an issue. If we don't spawn the bonus pod, then we can't spawn the power-up, so we have to do that. But this is all just characters anyway, so that doesn't matter. We clear the sprites. What happens if we don't clear them? What if we leave the pod at the bottom? We just don't update it anymore, but we don't remove it from the screen. No, there's no collisions when it moves down at all. I did consider putting that in, but it seems like it's kind of unnecessary for now, to be honest. I mean, maybe I might put it in, but it's not a huge deal, I don't think. Okay, so the sprite is still there, but I should still be able to blow this up. And there you can see the flickering straight away. So this sprite is flickering like crazy. And I think it's because we add another dynamic sprite to the screen with the power-up. Because of the position of this. I say there is a weird solution, and it's a horrible solution, but it is a solution. Which actually, for now, I'm going to implement because I want to do the other things. So let me just put these things back, which is to basically Shit, what if I just removed then? Did I remove the... Yeah, okay. Is instead of doing the normal clear, what we do is we set the sprite to 4.7, which is our blank sprite, and we set the position somewhere up high, and then it doesn't seem to cause any issues. It's not an ideal solution. I would like a proper solution. This is going to bite me in the ass later on, but for now, I kind of want to get on and do the other things. So it spawns 2 boxes. No, it spawns 1. It's just in 2 halves. It's too big to put in a single sprite, so... So I mean, having a workaround is all right, but I'd rather just fix the problem at the source. See, that's fine now. Really don't like that it's doing that though. It's really, really frustrating. Because it means there is a box here. There is a box here. It's just invisible now. Look like 2 identical sprites. Oh no! One of them is characters. One of them. So it's a sprite. It moves down the screen. When it hits the bottom, the sprite is removed and it's replaced with characters. So that you can shoot it. Because the way that the box explosions work is they need to be characters so that it can detect them. Because we use this material mapping to work out where the explosion should be, and also when you hit the box. If you hit a box in any location, because there are 8 characters here, it needs to know how to remove this. And in order to do that, it needs to find the top corner so that it can remove the right characters from the screen, and also work out what you're actually shooting. So it does that with these material maps. So it knows if there's a 3, if you hit a 3, it needs to keep going to the left until you find a 1. Same with a 7 and a 2. If it hits any of these numbers down here, it knows it needs to go up first and then go to the left. And that's how it kind of finds that top corner. It's also, these are used for the explosion. So a 1 will explode outwards that way. A 3 will explode out that way. A 2 and a 7 will explode upwards. And that's how we get the kind of shapes as it explodes. So it's kind of a quite novel use, I think, of the material editor in here. So you can see here 1, 3, 4, 5. These are the smaller boxes. It's the equivalent of having the middle chopped out of a bonus box. It's quite a sneaky way of doing the explosions. It means like when I shoot something like this, this box here, you see the stuff that comes off it goes in the right directions because I should do it on here as well, I think. Yeah, there you go. Because of the material positions that are being used. Okay, I'm going to leave it as it is for now. I'm not too happy with it, but I mean, it's a workaround, but I have a feeling it's going to bite me in the ass again later, but I'll dedicate some more time to it then. Okay, so the only thing I want to do on this screen is add the little stars in. So we've already imported the stars. They're down here in the sprite bonus. I think I've already got a thing for it here, sprite bonus star. Yeah. So what we need to do is when we spawn, we need a star list as well. So we'll have a star expos. This is all going to be kind of in the middle of the screen. We're probably not going to be over that side. So for now, I'm just going to put it as single values in here. I'm going to put 6 stars in. I think that's probably enough for now. And does this need to be random, or do they'll all spawn around about the same position? Yeah, it kind of does need to be a little bit. Okay, so we'll take this position. And we'll add a random value like that. Like that, I think. And that's the top corner of it, so it needs to be in the middle, so it'll be 24 across, so it'll be plus 24. Except we want this to be on either side, so it'll be plus 14. So we want that to be minus 10 or plus 10. So minus 10 from 24 is 14, so we start at 14. Start Y pos. Again, we'll do the same thing here. We'll fill 6 and Y pos start was random. And we'll add, let's do 10 this time. The sprite itself is 16 high. So and 16 minus 5 is 11, so we're at 11. And the reason it's minus 5 is because you want half of this, so it's minus 10 for this one, minus 5 for this one, and that gives us these values, and that should spawn it kind of roughly. Oh no, it's the middle would not be 16, it would be 8 minus 5, which would be 3, because the middle is going to be there. Now we might need to adjust these for the width of the star as well, but for now that's absolutely fine. So yeah, it's exactly. It's if for a workaround like that, I think it's fine. We might be all right. There might not be anything else in the game that causes an issue like this. What I'm worried about is on screens that have lots of sprite enemies moving around. If we start removing enemies from the screen, that they might be causing bugs. But you'll notice when I turn all the Robotron all of these on, there isn't any issue with these being the hazard signs being drawn and then removed. It just seems to be for some reason that bonus pod. So I'm not sure what that's about, but if it causes a problem, at least I know where to start looking. And I think what I've done is created a little bit of an improved multiplexer in the meantime. So okay, so we've got some star X positions, we've got some star Y positions. Now let's create how much should we do? They kind of need to move up, or just actually they can just kind of move. It's actually tricky, this one, because it's kind of like a firework. They need to go off like a firework, which means ideally they need to move in kind of random directions, which means I do need to have fractional values for these, I guess. Okay. Fine. Fractional values it is. It also means we need some random directions as well, which means we need values. Now, these can just be fractionals. We can leave each one of them as a fractional value. We'll just make this, rather than add gravity into it, we'll just make it a simple kind of expression. It doesn't need to be exactly the same, but it needs to kind of convey the same kind of feel, if you like. So we'll have dx. Now, these are always going to be fractional, and they're either going to be positive or negative. So these are really just going to be trying to think how best to do these, because you don't want them static. They need to definitely move a little bit. So I think if we do times 64 minus 32, so now we have, no, let's do times yeah, like that. So now we've got a value that's either minus 64 or 64, and then times that by 4. Let's use the square brackets for these. So that's going to give us a value that's either, that'd be minus times 2, wouldn't it? No, not times 2. It would be, I kind of want it to be minimum minus 64. Sorry, from minus 127 to minus 64, or from 64 to 127. So I don't want the middle numbers. Just trying to think how best to do this. If I take, oh, I know. Okay, so I take this number. So now I've got a number from 0 to 127, and now I just shift it 4 bits to the right. And then what that will do is it will make the number, left even. So that means if I've got 0, no, that's not going to work either, is it? Oh no, no. God. Hang on, let me write this down. So if the number is okay, so if I want to go from let's see, it would be okay. So that's our 127, and that would be from 64 to 127. And then negative numbers would be from, so this is -1. So negative, it would be that to that. So in that case, all we need to do is random times whatever this is. So 6 bytes, so times 64. This gives us this piece here. Plus random. This needs to be floor as well, just to make sure that's going to stay the same. Plus random times. This needs to be floor as well. So this is either 1 or 2. So times 2 plus 1. So it becomes either 0, 1, 1 or 2. Yeah. Times. So this is no, not times. Sorry. There we go. All right. I hope that makes sense to people, but that's I'm going to write above what it's actually doing. All right. Okay, so now it gives us some random directions as well. Wow, okay, that was kind of confusing, but makes sense in my head anyway. Okay, so in our shit, I put in the right file. I did put it in the right file. Thank God for that. All right. So that means now when we spawn, we also need to spawn some stars. This is where I'm not looking forward to the problems here. So we shall see what happens. Let's do that with Y. In fact, just make sure that that doesn't actually use the Y. It does. Okay, so Sprite. Okay, it really does. Okay, so we need to do it like that. And then what I should be able to do is do something like this. Oh, that's not going to work either. I need to manually call it because I need to set these values here. So I kind of need to do this manually. All right. Wow. Mine color and XMSB. Okay, so the MSB is going to be 0. The color is 1, so that will just be 1. All right. XMSB is going to be. Oh, that needs to be 5 actually. There we go. This is Oh, actually, the easy way to do this is we've got the reference, so we can just grab it. So if I just do that, yeah, all right. Making things difficult for myself here. All right, so I just set these to exposition 0, 0, 1, sprite, bonus star. There we go. So then the X register now is the index that we have. So what we should be able to do is, so it's load Y with temp counter. And if we load the accumulator with star X, pos, comma, Y, store that at multiplexer dot data dot xpos x. No, and then we need to transfer x to the accumulator, store that at star indices, comma, y. There we go. Does decrease set the negative flag? I think it does, doesn't it? Now officially less than 1 day left for the C60 for the Mega 65 competition. I really hope we get more entries. I really, really do. Negative flag is set. Okay, good. So if that's plus, we go back to there. Otherwise, we continue. All right. So this sets the sprites for star sprites. So let's just try that. They should just appear on the screen. They're not going to move or anything, but they should just appear on the screen. It does, but not carry. Yeah. So it's just the negative and the 0 flag, isn't it? Yeah, you should get AM points, but I'll give you you never get AMK points anymore. Not that you need any, but I'll give you 5 for that. There you go. You really don't need any more, but whatever. Okay, it's not loading. Or is it not loading? What have I missed? Start expos. Did I? Oh, have I? My capitalization is terrible. Expos, yeah, capital P. All right. So lowercase d for data, of course it is. My capitalization consistency is awful. So hopefully when I kill this, as well as the thing, it should spawn some sprites as well. Yeah, so we definitely see some sprite. Now, there is a bit of multiplexer shit going on there as well because of the limits we have. But if we move these fast at the same time, we're probably going to be all right. I think they need to be spread out a bit more, though. I don't think they're spread out quite enough. Also, they're not as central as I was hoping. So let me just update so that the sprite doesn't move down and we can see where they are, and let's make them spread out a little bit. So let's stop the bonus pod from moving down first, which is this bit here. If I just do that, that should stop it from moving. So we should see where they are. Probably need to stop it from being removed as well, but yeah, let me do that actually quickly. So we just get rid of that. Right, so it's going to stay on the screen, but and then I'll change these stars while I'm thinking about it now. And is that star central? I think it is, isn't it? It's capped, isn't it? Yeah, okay, centered. So that means we need to adjust for the centering as well. So that's easy enough to do. So X position means it's -12, Y position means it's like -10 or something like that. And then we just need to increase these a bit. So let's make that 40, which means this was 24. So we now need to take 20 off that. So the position is +4. And if we make this 30, so this was what was it before? Oh, it was 8, wasn't it? So that's the original position. So 15 off this is -7. Okay, right. They should be a bit more spread out now, hopefully. We can always hard code those values as well. I mean, I'm just using a random generator to pick the value at the moment. Okay, they're not completely centered, are they? They're like over one side. So look, did it build okay? Yeah, it did build okay. Okay, Y position plus random times 30. Okay, let's just do that first. Let's see where they appear and see how kind of spread out there. There should be. No, I know what we should be doing here. I know what we're going to do. All right, I'm going to leave those as they are. But I'm going to change this. So this is now going to be now they'll appear in a ring around it instead. Instead of just appearing kind of randomly half in, half out, they should appear in a ring around it, which should look a little bit better with the load up. Because on the original, there's quite a few sprites that get spawned. That actually, they're not in a ring at all, are they? What are they doing? I've done something weird here. Export start. Sign a random number. Oh, these random numbers need to be the same. That's why. Okay, let's not make it random in that case. Let's do. There is method in my madness, I promise. Which one's this? Oh, it's Python. There we go. Right. So yeah, I think we'll do it like this. We'll have them kind of move outwards like that, and then that makes it kind of easy for us to avoid any sprite multiplexer crap there. And it also means we could probably put a few more stars in as well. So let's center this now on here because it's obviously off center now, and add a few more. So let's have a look at getting this sent. So we'll redo these in a minute. These directions to base them on where they are in here, and we'll have them kind of blow out like that. So it won't be exactly the same as the original one, but again, it's one of these screens that's, I think it's the only one like this. So there is another Robotron screen, but I don't think it has a power up that drops from it. So what do we want to do here? Okay, so our position is either -20 or +20. So this would be centered on the top corner. Let me just double check that. It should be centered on the top corner. And then we'll kind of squish things around. We'll work it out, and then we can use the position around the circle to work out the direction, which makes the maths a little bit easier than that weird random thing that we were doing. So actually, that's not bad, but it does need shifting over. So it needs shifting over. they're lined up, so it probably needs shifting over. Let's do it manually. So it needs to go back like 4 pixels, and probably needs shifting over about 16, I think. Games are so random at times. And you're getting through those screens as well. There's just over 100 left now. No, it was too far. 16 was too far. The 4 was right, but the 16 was too far. So let's reduce that down. 12. And while we're at it, let's put 12 stars in. Actually, 12 might be too many for the Plex. I think let's do no, 12 should be all right actually. With the no, because the pod's in the middle as well. So let's do 10. That's probably a good number. All right. Almost there. It means we will be able to do a different screen next week. So one thing I will be doing is, even though I'm probably not going to be streaming very much in January, if at all, I will probably still do a bit of work on this because I do want to get this kind of done sooner rather than later. So the only thing I didn't do there, so it looks like it's working, but the one thing I didn't do was this here. So what I might do with these stars is move them at slightly different speeds, but the directions will be the same. Possibly. I mean, it might look all right. It's kind of, it'll look a bit like the Rainbow Islands thing when you grab certain things in Rainbow Islands. It does that weird. Oh yeah, see, it's only rendered half of them for some reason. It's not rendered the other half. Oh, wait, that shouldn't matter though. Oh, I know why. It's because this. So yeah, just a reminder, today's your last day for the demo competition and for the Mega 65 competition. So if you are planning on entering either of those, make sure you get the code to me as soon as possible before midnight tonight. Yeah, it's struggling to. Why is it not draw? Actually, it shouldn't be struggling. Why is it struggling to do that? Have I got a limit on the number? I might have a limit. Hang on. Two. How many did I set? Did I say 10? How was it drawn? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Oh, yeah, it's probably. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to do 8. I think because of the nature of the screen, I don't think it's going to work with more. We need to make sure they're gone before the power up can be spawned. It should be plenty though. I tell you what, I'm sick of seeing this Robotron screen now. There we go. Okay, so yeah, that we'll bring them in a little bit, and then I reckon can't bring them in too much, but if I just let's try half in the positions a little bit. Yeah, these are using negative numbers now because we're using sine and cos, so actually we don't need to adjust these the offsets here because it should still be centered. So that is a mouthful, yeah. Yeah. See, I think that the multiplexer struggles there because there's too many too tight together. So actually having them in a circle is probably a good idea, because if we just put them randomly, we may get into that issue where it appears like that. So we do need to kind of just get these values just right. It's actually just going to be that vertical value more than it's going to be that one. So let's do like that. I think we'll call it a night once I've got this in place. I'm going to do the rest next time. We're almost done with this screen, thankfully. We can even fade these stars out as they go. So because they're sprites, it should be pretty easy to fade them to black and it still look kind of actually it depends if the player goes behind them or not. I think the player might go behind them. Oh no, it probably doesn't actually. I think it goes on. So yeah, see, look, that sprite's missing there. That one. Just a tiny bit more, and then we're good. Not many to go on that series as well. 6 more to go on the dinosaur series. There we go. So what we'll do is we'll just move them kind of outwards, while fading them as well, and I think that will look kind of okay. I think we could. I mean, you could even maybe just remove these ones from the bottom, so they just kind of burst out the top. That might actually look slightly better. Let's put the sprite movement back in. I just want to see what happens when that disappears, and I grab the bonus this time with those sprites on the top. So okay, so the sprites don't flicker when it goes through there. They don't flicker when I move over. I'm going to shoot it from the middle. Okay, so there is a missing sprite because those are on the screen. But I think we can remove those before that sprite appears. Anyway, so let me just try something. I'm going to reduce the sprites down again. Might as well play around with this for the last few minutes, I guess. I'm going to put it down to 6, but this time what I'm going to do, I'm going to do this. Now, I think that's going to do a semicircle on the right-hand side. I think. I can't. My head's not quite ready to think about how that would work. Yeah, it's probably going to be a semicircle on the right-hand side. So I just need to rotate it back half pi. Yeah, okay. So I need to rotate half a pi backwards. I know this is crazy to look at, but it all makes sense in my head. So, and I'm the only one working on it, so it's fine. Why did that go around that way, and why did that sprite disappear? times 2. Should it have been plus? I think it should have been plus. That's the problem. It's also not quite pi divided by 2. It should kind of be like a little bit more. So just off, but it's fine. It'll do. A bit of Nemo. I'm going seeing these in 2 weeks at Wembley. Assuming that it's still on. I'm hoping it is. A bit worried they might actually block it now. Okay, yeah, so almost there. I'm going to move it a little bit more, so I'm going to reduce that number down. I mean, we're in the realm of super magic numbers now, but whatever. Hey, Proton. But yeah, I'm going to go and watch these at Wembley if it's still on. They haven't cancelled it yet, so I'm hoping they don't. But I fully understand if they do. Someone at work had COVID the other day. I had to take another COVID test. But I mean, I'm all clear, so it's good. But yeah, I had to. Oh shit. Oh, almost. So I want like another. That maybe. Let's do 7.5. I think 7.5 is probably right. Oop. Hey, Proton. I think this is it now. I think I'm done for the night. I'm quite tired as well. Yeah, that's close enough. I think they'll be moving anyway, so it's fine. So on the next stream, I'll make them move in the basically the direction they're pointing on that circle. So they'll just kind of burst out like that, and they should. I don't know if I need to fade them out or just move them off screen, because they're going to be. They're going to be behind or in front. If they're behind stuff, then that's fine. But I have a feeling they're in front, so so I can check that if I just do debugger. Sorry, I love this tune. It's cool. Okay. So I want that screen, and I want actually. Can I just? Oh, I think it sets the color in the plexer. Actually, I don't think I can just change the color in here. Hang on. Yeah, it does. Damn it. All right. Sorry, I can change it in here instead. It's probably what for next time this anyway, but I just want to have a look. 4 FFB, so it'd be 4 FFB plus 20, so that would be well, I can find it anyway. It's easy enough to find. Let's get into that screen first. Okay. What I was doing there. Oh, I wanted to see if the stars were behind or in front. So I think in terms of the scenery, foreground has priority. So that means it's going to go behind these, which is good, which means we can fade them out to black and they won't appear over the background. And this sprite is the highest. I can't remember which sprite takes priority. I think this one takes priority. No, it doesn't, does it? It's these ones take priority. Okay, so this sprite is going to appear behind. So it means if you were to move your ship in front of them, you would see the stars fading out. That's not too bad though. I think it's fine. The fact that it moves behind the scenery is good. Yeah, I'm happy with that. I think I'm happy with that now. So, okay, cool. Right, let's go and find someone to raid. We can do the rest of this next time. See who's on. Where's my actual? Oh, there it is. Who's on? Who's on? Moonbeam. Haze is on. We could raid Haze. Chalk's on. Clipper's on. What's Haze playing at the moment? What the hell is that? Oh, I recognise this. Right, yeah, we'll raid Haze. All right. Cool. Cheers, guys. I will see you all on Saturday. We will be doing Mega 65. It's been a few weeks since I've done it. I need to get back to it. I need to get back in this the swing of things. So we'll be back into that on Saturday. And again, final reminder: today's your last day to submit for the demo competition and for the Mega 65 competition. So please do send some stuff in. I really hope we get more than one entry. So yeah, Miss Shipments in Finland. Okay, cool. Yeah, should be with you soon then. Be good to see what you come up with on the Mega 65 Proton. Okay, guys, take care. I shall see you all on Saturday. Cheerio.